Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. No, I want you to meet a really close friend of mine named Cory Chadwick. Um, Cory has something cool plastered to the wall behind him. It's the Personal Greatness Project. Funny side story, you and I first met in a birthing class at Sunnybrook Hospital, where we were both with our wives expecting our first children as naive men having no idea what was going to happen or what was going on.
All right. Yeah.
And a friend of mine and a cousin, and I think through marriage of yours, connected us like a year later.
Yeah.
Both of our kids born days apart from each other were a year old, and we know each other from somewhere.
Yeah. Where do I know you
Birthing
from?
class. Yeah. But that's a different story for a different day. I wanted to just have this conversation with you, Cory, because you're doing some cool stuff.
Hmm.
I want to get the word out about it because I think it is so worthwhile.
Thank you, man.
So welcome. How you doing?
Thank you, sir. I'm great. Thanks. Other than the craziness of the two young kids, as you well know, and the day to day that entails, things are great.
Yes. The stage of life is called blur, I think.
Yeah. It is blur, but it's such a
Yeah.
wonderful blur.
Awesome. So you've started something called the Mental Gym,
Yeah.
and the Personal Greatness Project, and I'd love for you, share anything that you want about the backstory or what it is, or what you're inspired to do and create for others.
Sure. I'll just start by saying when I was growing up, starting from a very young age, but kind of an ongoing theme throughout my life was this feeling like I had this potential that I didn't know how to tap into. This feeling like maybe you're meant for more, even if you don't know what that means. There was this version of myself that I always believed I could be and become, but I just really never knew how to get from here to there.
Mm,
I knew I wanted to lead. I knew I wanted to matter and live a life that mattered. I knew I wanted to be inspired and inspire other people. I also wanted to be a part of something that mattered, right? Something bigger than myself. And really looking for those answers. How can I find those best parts of me and contribute that to something that makes an impact, that makes a difference, that potentially moves the needle in the world? But went through some real ups and downs in life, some really difficult times that really, I think, tested me
mm,
and showed me that no one's going to hand you the life you want. And it just doesn't work that way. And so in one of those hard times, I had just lost my mom to mental illness. And I was in a low spot and realized that I kind of had to rewire my brain to survive almost. And so I started bit by bit rewiring my brain, the decision making, the thought process, all these little things. And over time, that kind of survival system kind of started morphing into a thriving system.
mm.
Really unintentionally, it just started happening that way. And then I just kept adding pieces to it and developing it further and further until one day I realized that I had really developed something that was pretty cool. It helped me build a previous business. It's helped me in my relationships. To this day, I wouldn't be nowhere near the dad and husband that I am and want to be without this operating system, is what we really call it. And I didn't know what to do with it. I was just kind of using it for my own purposes and sharing, some pieces of it with, friends and people I wanted to help, say, in their business or whatever. But it was really around that time when we met, becoming a dad, and especially when my first son, Brooks, was born, I just felt this massive sense of responsibility to try to make the world better for him to grow up in, and realizing that I had something here that could help, that I could contribute. And so I started the Personal Greatness Project, realizing that we have so much untapped potential, so much. And one, we don't really know that we have a choice to tap into it. We've only ever known one way, and this is the way we've always thought, and this is the version of myself I've always been. We keep doing things the same way they've always been done, just because that's the way they've always been done. And it's really a recipe for mediocrity. It's certainly not a recipe for greatness. And I want to preface greatness by saying it really is personal. Like, it's not everyone's got the same definition of greatness. Not everyone has the same vision of who they want to be, or the kind of life they want to live, or what kind of potential they want to realize. It very much is personal, but we all have something special to offer. And I believe the world's going to be a better place when good people become great. that's what's going to move the needle when we realize that potential. And so I really got to work on making that happen. Started seeing some incredible results very early on, which was really exciting. And over the past few years, doing a lot of experimentation and a lot of looking to, who's this for and what's the best way of delivering and implementing and things like that. How do people like to learn it? I became very inspired by the gym that I go to. I go to a CrossFit gym, and I love the camaraderie, the community. I love that people show up. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be first day in the gym. You could have been there for 10 years, but you're in there together. You support each other. You're all working towards some version of the same thing. I love that you're in and out in an hour. Like, there were so many parts about it that I really loved. And I started realizing that this is what my work needs to be. The Personal Greatness Project needs to be a gym. It's not a physical gym, it's a mental gym. And that's what started the mental gym. So think of it just like going to a regular gym, except instead of lifting weights and running on treadmills, you're working out your mind and your potential with the right tools, with the right mindset, with the right system, community, guidance that you need to become that version of yourself. But if you think of it in the simplest terms as personal growth and personal development, there are a lot of options out there, but none of them I think are the answer. Podcasts, books, all these things are great, but it's like, I can give you a book on karate. It doesn't mean you're going to become some sort of karate master. I used to do a lot of 2-day workshops or even 10-week workshops, but what happens after that? You're all built up, and anyone who's ever been to, say, a weekend workshop or seminar, you know what I'm talking about. You're all built up. You have all the support you want for 2 days, and you feel like you're on top of the world. But then Monday comes and crash back down in normal life. And very much like physical exercise is this ongoing process. It's just a way of life. So is mental exercise. So is becoming that version of yourself that you want to be. And so for 1 hour, once a week, you come to the mental gym, you work out with like-minded people in small interactive group classes, and you become who you've always believed you could be, but just never knew how to turn that vision into reality.
I love that. Can you speak to, you mentioned rewiring and changing your operating system, or advancing or whatever it is, upgrading your nice.
Yeah.
And I love that it was something that naturally happened for you, born from a time where you needed it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to give this to others. Can you describe what that rewiring is, like, from past state to present state? Like, what are those differences?
Yeah. So it's very much principle based, right? Like understanding what your principles are, the non-negotiable principles, and how they all work together. So that when you are living by them and breathing by them, they just become a part of who you are, and they do work together. So it's not this kind of isolated principle here and this isolated principle there. It's how do these puzzle pieces all come together? And when that happens, you really intuitively become who you want to be. It's not hard work. It does take effort, but anything takes effort. And you just learn to make decisions consistent with that person, that version of you that you want to be. And so you take action consistent with that version of you, but it's not based on willpower or, people who go to a physical gym January 1st and you're slugging away because you made this New Year's resolution to yourself. And then 3 weeks later, you're out of the gym because you weren't really setting yourself up to succeed. Your intention was great. You wanted it for all the right reasons, but it was inconsistent with who you actually were. And so it makes it hard to make those decisions consistently. You get up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you drink water, you take a leak, you eat breakfast. These things are kind of automatic. And so we're trying to make this automatic. The same way your operating system works on your computer. You don't see your operating system working. It's behind the scenes, but it really is making all the decisions. All your programs, all your apps run on this operating system. It started with a very simple understanding that, like I said earlier, no one's going to hand you the life you want. You can't just cross your fingers and realize your potential. The most important thing to me became being happy. I realized that if you're not happy and fulfilled in your life, and you can define that however you want, but if you're not happy and fulfilled in your life, truly happy, then kind of what's the point? Then something's off, or something needs to be changed, because one day you're going to be at the end of your life looking back and you're going to evaluate your life and you're going to say, give it a score from 1 to 10. What do you want to say? You lived your 6 out of 10 or your 7? it's unfortunately, that's what most people do. 5, 6 is kind of that default average. And you work a little harder and maybe you get up to a 7 or an 8, but why wouldn't you want your 10? And that just made sense to me. So that was principle number 1, was live your 10. Number 2, very closely tied into it, was you have to own it. You have to take full responsibility and ownership for your life. Nothing's going to happen without that. You can have all the reasons and all the excuses in the world. You can say that you're busy. You can say that you don't have what it takes, or you don't have what you need to become that version of yourself. But at the end of the day, this is just, I don't know, these are excuses. You've got to make a decision. All the reasons, all the excuses you have, what matters more? The reasons for not living your 10, or just living your 10? And so once that became so clear to me, and it just makes so much sense to me when you say it like that, those became 2 non-negotiables: own your life and live your 10. And then those were the backbone of the operating system. They're still the backbone of the operating system. They always will be the backbone of the operating system. And then every other piece is just a nice complementary addition to it.
Nice.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really cool stuff.
Neat. So I'm hearing there's first you need clarity on what your 10 could be. I like to say, I told you I'd like to call it the 11, because potential.
You love the 11.
Yeah, this one goes to 11. But this notion of you need clarity of your 10, and then you need to focus on what's in your control to make it happen.
Absolutely. So, first recognizing that most things are in your control. There are some things that aren't, for sure, but I think we tend to lean too much in these things are out of my control, when really a lot of them are in your control. So recognizing that, you don't necessarily need clarity on specifically what your 10 is. So I know that people would say things like, I want to have this career, and I want to make this much money, and I want this kind of family thing. I lean very much away from specifics, or the what stuff.
Nice.
And lean a lot more heavily into who you want to be, the who stuff. Because the who stuff and the why of everything is...
Heard of it?
You might have heard of it before. Is really the driver of everything. The what stuff will take care of itself, and it'll take care of itself in a way that's consistent with who and why. Versus when you do it the other way around, you're kind of throwing darts at a dartboard, hoping to hit a bullseye, and really just hoping to hit the dartboard, because everybody else told you this is what success looks like, or happiness looks like. It's what you learned in school. So you're just trying to do it right. And unfortunately, that's why so many people wake up one day and just say, is this it? And it's not that life is horrible by any stretch. It just means I just thought there'd be more to this and more about this. And I've heard you talk a lot about the huge percentage of people who are unsatisfied or unengaged in work. That's a heartbreaking number. I think if it was reversed, if it was 13% instead of 87%, 13% would still be too high. And here it is, it's 87% of people who aren't engaged in work, or don't like or hate their jobs, or whatever that is. So I think the other problem with trying to get too clear on what your 10 is now is you're working from a place of thinking you have all the answers, right? I know what I want, but the truth is you can't know what you want until you start to understand what you're actually capable of. And you can't know exactly who you want to be until you get an idea of who you are, and then who you're capable of being. Because that version of you is going to have a different 10. So rather than focusing on the specific, here's what my specific 10 looks like, think of 10 like your North Star. So happiness, fulfillment, that's the 10 that we're working towards. And again, you're going to define that differently than I will, but there are 3 pillars to it. And if you focus on these 3 pillars and you make these the cornerstone of your life, you're going to live your 10. And that's purpose, or contribution, giving something that's bigger than yourself. Potential, you've got to realize your potential. If you don't, you're not going to live your 10. And meaningful relationships. And if you make those 3 the focus of your life, and they will vary at different times, for example, the relationships that are most important to you are going to change in time. Clearly your kids weren't the most important relationship 5 years ago, but now nothing else seems to matter, right?
Let's just be clear, they didn't exist 5 years ago.
They didn't exist, right? Sorry, they didn't exist 5 years ago. Just like your wife wasn't the most important relationship before you met, right? So those will change, but meaningful relationships will always be one of those key pillars, just like realizing your potential, which will show up different ways in different times of your life, and just like living with purpose and intentionally. But when you strive for a 10 in those 3 things, you're going to live your 10. You're going
Nice.
to live a life that you're going to look yourself in the mirror and just say, yeah, like that guy did it right. You know? Or you're doing
I,
it.
yeah, I've heard this perspective that I love, that, you know, people use this term, realize your full potential,
Yep.
as if our potential is like a bucket that, like, once you reach the top, it's like you're done, like you did it.
Yeah,
That's not the reality, that our potential is actually infinite. And I
absolutely.
think it's part of our humanity that we reach it, and then all of a sudden there's more. There's always more.
Always.
I just love your thoughts on that.
I completely agree with you. Now, we say full potential because that's kind of common language. People
Sure.
understand that. I like saying true potential. Um, but it really, I agree with you. It is infinite. Again, you don't know what your potential is. You can't even get a taste of it because the version of you that you are today, hopefully, is going to be very different a year from now. And so that person's potential is greater. And then the more
Yeah.
you grow, the more your potential grows too. So to say,
Mm.
here's what my potential is going to look like, I think is just doing yourself a huge disservice and doing the rest of us a disservice by association.
Mm.
I agree. I think there's the individual potential for each one of us. There's the
Mm.
collective potential. As we all start to rise up together, then we're capable of so much more together. On a smaller scale, that's going to show up in companies and teams and organizations, right? You can have that one leader trying to realize their potential, but what if you had everybody doing the work together? So there's just no reason to put a cap on potential. What's the benefit of that?
Yeah.
It's inaccurate and it doesn't serve at all. So yeah, I'm with you.
Nice. Nice. Well, and I love that you've called it the mental gym, because just like the practice of exercise, it's a practice. Like we
Right.
don't, you know, go to the gym, reach a goal, and then stop exercising for the rest of our lives. It's the same thing
No.
with our potential and our mindset, that it's infinite.
Absolutely, it is,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's something that you keep working on.
Nice.
That, like you said, you wouldn't lift weights for 2 days or a week and then be like, I'm good. You know, I've done my squats or my bench press or something like that. Like that,
Yeah.
that makes no sense. And again, as you continue to grow, your frame of reference is going to be different. Your potential is going to be different, and so it really is a continuous and ongoing process. Um, the reason for the gym being a gym, other than everything that I named, and really the fact that this is what I wish I had. I
Mm.
want to go to the mental gym. It doesn't exist, so I had to create it. Um, is this is how to say this? This is who you want to be, and so this is something that you do, right? Like again, like physical exercise, like eating well, like just taking care of yourself. This is a very complementary piece of that. And so if you were to say to somebody, and I know this from firsthand experience for sure, just work out at home. You don't need to go to the gym. You don't need, just do all your exercise at home. Let me tell you how
Mm.
much exercise I do at home when I'm by myself trying to motivate myself to do it, right? What I love about going to CrossFit is I have to sign up for my class. I show up, I'm accountable, I'm held accountable, and I'm there and I'm fully present in being there. And so what I love, and especially hearing this from our members, is especially because we're all so busy, we've got so much on our plates. You and I, we've got 2 young kids and careers and everything, but just everybody's so busy now. And to be able to cut out that just 1 hour once a week to dedicate to yourself, to focus on yourself, to
Mm.
become who you want to be, the results are exponential in your life. But again, understanding and treating it like a gym where it's fun,
Mm.
where it's engaging, where it's something that you genuinely want to do. Um, I'm sure you would agree, but working on yourself is fun. Like, I really enjoy it. And so why not go to a place with like-minded people who enjoy working on themselves too, and
Mm-hmm.
do it together?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think this is going to become very normal. And
Mm.
that's really my big goal here, is to normalize it. You go to the physical gym, you go to the mental gym,
Nice. I
right?
love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. One more question for you. I mean, there's so much about what you've built that I still resonate with and love, and I think it's why we get along so well.
Yeah.
I mean, one, this notion of, um, you know, we don't believe in the self-help industry. We believe in the help others industry.
Hmm.
When you help others, you end up helping yourself. This notion of together is better and accountability. I love that about what you've built. And I love that there was something for you that was born out of personal experience and
Yeah.
changed your life for the better. And you're like, I have to share this,
Hmm.
which I love. So my question for you, or it's sort of 3 questions, and I can repeat them if we get lost. What is it now? What do you want it to become, and how can we learn more?
What is the mental gym now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the mental gym now is, we've gone through beta, essentially, like a beta launch. It's been really exciting. Started with a group of founding members who have just been incredible, loving it, welcoming new members, but little bit at a time. We want to really protective of the culture. We want to make sure that, we've got some really high quality people in there. So that's kind of where we're at now. And now at the stage of, we've got this amazing thing. Now we really do want to share this with other people. So how do we share this with other people? Now we want more good people joining us in the gym so we can share this with them and they can be a part of what we're building. We also realize this is something that drives me every day, but also something that I think is such a nice kind of bonus for our members is we're all a part of something that's bigger than ourselves, because we recognize that while we're coming together to work out for our own purposes in life, either as business leaders and entrepreneurs, as parents, as you name it, just anybody who wants to be better. Mm-hmm. We also know that the world changes when good people become great. And nice. So because you're in that gym together, you get to make the world a little bit better place every week. Every time you show up in the gym, you leave and the world is just a little bit better every time. And the more people that end up working out in the mental gym, the faster that change is going to happen. And so we love that we get to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves and a part of something that matters, because we all want to be a part of something that matters, right? We all want to be a part of something that's bigger than ourselves, and we want to matter ourselves. And I think this is such a wonderful way of being able to give that to everybody. And again, this is everything that I've always wanted. So that's really exciting. So where do I want it to go? Again, like I said, I want this to be normal. I want, ideally everybody, the world would be a phenomenal place if everybody went to the mental gym. But just as many people as want to, as are even semi-interested to join, or even just try out a class, do a drop-in class to actually, it's new. I get it. So you're probably asking a lot of questions. What is this mental gym? Check it out. Experience it and see what's in it for you, and then see what's in it for, much more than you, be it you as an individual, your team, your company. Doing, private gym for your company is a really cool way of doing it. I just think it's, I'm not going to pretend I know all the solutions out there, but from what I do know, I just think this is a better solution because it checks so many boxes, from mental wellness to leadership to teamwork to culture change, higher performance with less effort, which is, one of my absolute favorites. So there's a lot of great boxes that it checks. And again, just to make this a part of your normal routine, it's a lifestyle eventually. And this is what I want it to be, just a lifestyle for people. If you care about exercise and eating well and meditating, or just being a better you, it just makes sense that the mental gym would be part of your routine.
Nice.
So that's what I want it to be. I just want it to be a normal, commonplace thing. I want it to be cool. I want it to be fun, so that you want to keep working out. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we stick with things, because we enjoy them. Nice. And sorry, what was the third question?
How can we learn more?
How can you learn more? So you can check out personalgreatnessproject.com is a great way. Follow the Personal Greatness Project on Instagram. Actually, on Instagram, you can see clips from the gym, just little clips to kind of see what's going on in there. It's not going to give you kind of the full understanding of what a full hour session's like, but at least you'll get, clips of some of the conversations and some of the parts of the lessons that happen in there, which is really cool. If you want to speak more, and I would love to speak. I love speaking with people just one-on-one about this. If you go to the website, you can just book a call with me right away, a quick little intro call. I'm more than happy to answer all your questions and get to know you a little bit better, and see if this is something that is a fit for you, for your company, for your team, for whatever. So lots of ways to learn more. And I hope you do learn more, because we've got something special happening here.
Nice. Well, I love as well so much, Cory, that this isn't about just the Personal Greatness Project and the mental gym. Like, I fully believe that you would just be happier if more people had more outlets like this. It doesn't need to be yours. Like, I just love that you're wanting more and more people to work on themselves so that we can thrive. I love that. And your optimism is infectious, my friend, and it makes me better. I'm like, sometimes like, shucks, why is he so positive? But it really helps me find the silver lining and be a better person, leader, and father. So thank you, my friend.
Oh man, thank you for saying that. That's awesome.
I'm so delighted to see where this goes in the coming years, and to be by your side as it grows.
Thank you, my friend. And I can't tell you how much I know I tell you all the time, but just how much I appreciate your friendship and your support, believing in me. There have been, you got a lot of cooks in the kitchen, right? There's a lot of voices kind of telling you, do this with it and take it this way and take it that way. And you've always been that one voice for me that kind of, your voice is very similar to my voice, and you kind of echo what I already know. And to just have you in my ear helping me stay on track where I know that I need to take things has just been immensely invaluable, really. So again, thank you so much for that.
Awesome, brother. Awesome. I'm sending you over a virtual Zoom hug.
Huge hug. Huge hug.
We'll do the real thing soon.
You got it.
Thanks for tuning into this, guys, and I hope this helps. And if this conversation resonates with you, learn more about Cory, learn more about what he's building with the Personal Greatness Project and the Mental Gym.
Awesome. Thanks, Stephen.
See ya.